Hi, my name is Claudia Brown Coulter with Brownie Culture. I'm a divorce mediator and I help you uncouple consciously so you can, you know what? It's Monday. I don't even know what I do. Let me try that again. I help you guys divorce peacefully, consciously, so you can move on with your lives. I'm not sure what happened, but there you go. Welcome to Monday. Okay. So if you're joining me live, please say hello. And if you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay. I don't know what happened. This video is titled Laughter Through Tears is My Favorite Emotion. That is a line that Trudy says in Still Magnolias. And in the movie version, it is played by none other than Dolly Parton, who's amazing. And you don't have to be a country music fan to love Dolly Parton. She's incredible. So, but what I wanted to talk to you about today is the conflicting emotions you may feel and you're going to feel when faced with the possibility of divorce, especially if you are not the one who wants it. You may initiate those divorce filings because you feel like it's something you have to do, but you don't necessarily want the divorce. So you may be feeling guilty, like you went to a funeral and it was very sad. All funerals are sad. Unless you're Mary Tyler Moore and you're laughing at the clown's funeral. Anybody get that reference? Anyway, we couldn't watch regular TV when I was a kid, so we had to watch like old shows. Anyway, going to a funeral is really tragic. But then you find yourself laughing later in the day because you saw something funny or you watched a funny movie or somebody said something funny and you feel guilty about it. You have those conflicting emotions of why should I have joy when someone's not here anymore. And that's where that line comes in. Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. And it really does help ease the pain. So, you might be sad because things are ending, but hopeful because there's a new future. You might be really wanting to save the marriage, but then feel guilty because you are now living in two separate households. He or she is living there and you're living here, and things are actually better. And you feel bad about that. Like, but I want to save my marriage, but why do I feel so good by myself? So then you feel like maybe something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. That is normal and natural. Conflicting emotions, especially in divorce, are completely natural, and it happens, and you're going to go up and down. They undulate like a wave. Just be prepared. Just expect it. And you don't need any extra guilt or any extra pressure. Okay? I'm sure everybody's putting that on you anyway. So don't add to that. Don't add to the stuff that you already feel. So if you are feeling better away, it's because you realize that your life actually is, at least right now, a little bit better away from your spouse, maybe because there's less drama, because there's less fighting, there's less emotional abuse, there's less, maybe it's not even up to the level of abuse. Maybe it's just like, I finally can have my space because somebody's mama isn't there all the time. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's kids that aren't from your body, or from, or if you're a male, that would be from your body too. Maybe they're kids who you are not their biological parent. You are the step parent. And so now all you're responsible for is yourself. And it's kind of a nice break. Just be honest with how you're feeling. Nobody needs to know how you feel. It doesn't mean you love your spouse any less. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't even mean that you don't love your stepkids. It just means that right now in this moment, this is a good moment. And it's okay to be grieved about divorce or the potential for divorce, but have some good moments. A lot of times when you feel that way, it's because there's some sort of imbalance in the relationship where you are doing all of the work, either the physical work, or maybe you're doing all of the financial heavy lifting, and so to be away from that is a relief. Now, the danger in that is actually for your spouse, that you are actually happier away from them. That's dangerous for them because how are they going to get you back? But it's good news for you because one of three things is going to happen. Okay? If you're in this limbo, this middle ground where you're not sure if the divorce is moving forward or not, you're not sure if you want it, they kind of want it, but things aren't really happening and you don't know what's going on, but you want to reconcile, but then at the same time you feel like, well, it's kind of nice with you not being here. One of three things will happen. One, they won't change and you will go back. Two, they will change and you'll go back. Three, they'll let you go for good. 2 out of 3 of those things are good. And here's why they're good. If they've changed and you go back, you're going back to a new life. If they let you go, you get to go create a new life. But if you go back and nothing has changed, nothing will change and things might actually get worse. Okay, so what should you do? If you're in this limbo of, I don't know if I'm getting a divorce or not, if my spouse is going to pull the trigger or not, I don't really want to, I'm waiting for things, but it feels kind of good to be away from them because I finally get a break and I get to take care of myself. What should you do? 1, feel how you feel and expect your emotions to fluctuate. Don't lie to yourself, right? Okay, you feel guilty? Okay. Be honest with that part of yourself, but also be honest, like, it's really nice to sit here and my house is clean all the time. Or nobody's eating up all my food. Or I don't have to give, 12 different baths tonight or whatever. Or I'm accountable for my own spending, whatever. I'm pulling my own weight to support myself. Enjoy that feeling. If there was some sort of bad behavior on your spouse's part, abuse, affair, financial infidelity, whatever, if that's why you left, if that's why you're like, I'm moving out, I gotta go, then you really want to go back, you really want them to change, then what I'm going to say to you, I'm not a therapist, but what I'll say to you is you need to wait for them to change. Don't let them tell you they've changed. You need to see that they have changed. Talk is cheap. Actions are everything. Everything. And if it's something, really substantial, but that you're like, but we can get through this, we can heal our marriage. Well, they need to change their actions, not just for like 2 days, like, 6 months, like a real character change. Because if that doesn't happen, then that marriage is not safe for you to go back to. And your heart is not safe. You're not going to get the respect and love that you need and deserve as a human being. So as painful as it is to think, well, I might have to finally end this, or they may finally end this, they're really doing you a favor, because if they want to continue in those ways that are bad, and they might not see it as bad, but you may see it as bad. An affair is never a good thing. Then they are actually doing you a favor if they're not going to change to end the marriage. And you might not see it right away. It might take you a long time to see it. Okay. But it's actually, you're going to get to a point where you're like, this was actually a good thing. I'm so happy that she met him, or he met her, or she met her, or whatever. Because now I'm free from them and things are better for me. And boy, was it painful. I'm so glad it happened. Honey, that person's your problem now. Enjoy it. Mark my words, one day you're going to feel that way and it's going to feel good and you're not going to feel any guilt about it. Now, if you really, you're like, I really want to save my marriage, do not allow anyone to rush you into divorce or rush you into reconciliation. These are your decisions. If you know that you are supposed to reconcile, or if you know you're supposed to get a divorce, you will know. And you have to know in your own timing. This is not anything anyone can rush you into. It takes 2 people to get married, but only one person to decide to get a divorce. And if they want to get a divorce, you're getting a divorce. You can delay it as much as you want, but that is coming for you. But if you have time to see if they'll change, if you have time to make up your mind, then use the time until you know deep inside that you've made the right decision, whether that is to reconcile or divorce. You have to know, and you make the right decision for you, because nobody lives your life except for you. During this time away from your spouse, while you're waiting for everything to figure out, are we doing this or not, work on yourself. Work on your flaws. Work on your strengths. Work on things that make you awesome. Go to therapy and be willing to take a real honest look at yourself and go, well, where have I contributed to the breakdown of this marriage? Ooh, that is hard, and I know it. I don't say that lightly. Nobody's perfect, though. People say it takes two to tango. I don't know about that. I don't think you can look at yourself and go, I was at fault and it was my fault I was abused, if there was abuse in the relationship. Because somebody could strap you onto their feet and tie you up to their body and tangle, and you ain't got no choice but to move with them. I know that's a crazy analogy, but I just think that to say that conflict is always two people's fault, that's not always true. Not when there's abuse. But when there's not an abusive relationship, it's just a toxic, unhealthy relationship, then you have to be willing to look at yourself and go, well, what could I have done better? Even if there is an abusive relationship, look at yourself and go, how can I help myself not be in a situation like this again? But you take a look at yourself. Not for anybody else, but for you. None of this work is for anyone but you. I'm sorry, I'm pointing my fingers at you. I'm serious about this, though. It's about you having a good and happy life. It's about you walking through life, being loved and feeling loved and knowing you are loved. It's about walking through life, being respected, feeling respected, and knowing you are respected by your partner. Those things are important. If you're loved and respected, you can take on the world. If somebody at home got your back, you could take on the world. And if they don't, good luck. So that's why I'm like, all of these things are about you. Now, the divorce is about you, not about your kids. Okay? So I encourage you to encourage your kids to continue to have contact with their other parent. Just because their other parent did something egregious to you, unless it was abuse, we're not talking about abuse here, they shouldn't break off contact with their parent. They're not getting a divorce from their parent. And you shouldn't be using your children. Please don't use your children as pawns or something to barter with or to manipulate or control the other person. That will backfire on you one day. Don't do that. Don't do that. Encourage them to have a relationship with the other parent. They're not divorcing their parent. You're divorcing their parent. And then, you know what? You pray for the best, but prepare for the worst. Get ready. Get your financial ducks in a row. Find the deed. Find the tax returns. Know what your debts are. Know what your bank accounts are. Know what the other person's stuff is. Know that information so that if divorce becomes an issue and you're actually going to follow through with that, you're ready. You are ready. Okay? Do not, if you're already out of the house, it shouldn't take you off guard. But use this time now to get yourself ready. And really what I mean ready, yes, there are things you can do. There are things you can do to get yourself ready financially, like tax returns and things like that. But get yourself ready emotionally. Know what you need to live on. Know what you need to secure the right job. If you have been a stay-at-home parent and now you got to go back into the workforce, know what classes you need to take in order to finish school. Get yourself ready. And then if it doesn't happen, great. But find something that you love during this time away from your spouse. Find something you love. Find something that brings you life. And if you get divorced, continue in that way. Continue to walk in that thing that brings you life. And if you reconcile, Continue to walk into that thing that gives you life. Don't drop your hobbies for that other person. Okay? Listen, I'm rooting for you. And I'm rooting for your marriage. Even though I'm divorce mediator, I'm definitely pro marriage, but I'm not pro toxicity. So if you got to end that thing, you need to end that. End it. But don't let anyone rush you. I'll be here next week. I hope to hear from you. Let me know what you think below. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.